Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Second quarterfinal match of the evening. Number 2, Jake Bredenbeck from Marine, Minnesota versus number 7 from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Samuel Murray. And I got to tell you, it's not every day we see a match like this. Two good friends, but going head to head. They're doubles partner in this event. And as it stands, this is going to be a good one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Fabio Soto for the IRT, and I am accompanied by our very own Michael Buffer, Mr. Lauren McManus.
Thanks, Fabio. I appreciate that. That's pretty good company to put me in.
So I got to tell you, I'm excited for this match, Lauren. This is the 2023 Papa Nicholas Coffee Shamrock Shootout. As you mentioned in the introduction, 38 years. This is one of the longest running events in professional racquetball.
And it's such an iconic facility as well. This glass court has been here a long, long time. I had the opportunity earlier this week as we were setting up to make a trek downstairs to kind of check out some stairwell access, and I'm not so sure there aren't some stories down there somewhere.
No, of course, and this is the Jeff Peters Memorial Court, because Jeff Peters, one of the longest, men that have ran any events anywhere. He passed away, and still great memories here, and in honor of his name, this is now the Jeff Peters Memorial Court.
Absolutely. Great honor for him.
So Sam Murray was going to start us off. Of course, Big Canada in the blue shirt. Jake Bredenbeck, the Minnesota Viking, in the salmon shirt. Was that right? Salmon, coral?
It's kind of pinkish to me.
It's a good side out there by Jake Bredenbeck. So we saw Jake in this court earlier today, had a compelling play. And right now, Jake is on a run for sure. It's a great defense there by Sam.
Excellent defense by Murray. Unbelievable.
And that leads the way to that down the line shot. 0-0.
As you alluded to earlier, it's going to be very interesting to see how this match goes, because these two are such good friends, and they know each other's games inside and out. So the trick is going to be, how do you present something different that maybe is going to give you the edge?
And they're playing doubles in this event too. So regardless of the outcome, they still have to see each other tomorrow in the semifinals. We're still at 0-0. That's a skip shot there by Jake Bredenbeck. That's the side out. And, that's the other thing, Lauren. Sam, unfortunately, in the past few months has had a couple of injuries. We've missed him in some events. He seems healthy. You talk to him, he feels good. But, there's always the knee issue right there. He had an issue with his wrist late last year. And we just hope that he's well. But he doesn't play like he's injured ever, actually.
No, I watched that doubles match earlier, and he was full boat the entire time. I mean, you wouldn't know he's had any injury problems at all.
That's an interesting serve right there. High lob nick to Jake's forehand.
It's kind of a rare skip for Sam. Actually, both Sam and Jake are really pretty good from about 38 feet back.
Yes, they are. Well, there you go. As you mentioned, from about 38 feet. But when it comes down to defense, I like Sam Murray's defensive capabilities. I like more Jake's offensive capabilities. But that stands when you got in football, you got a good defense versus a good offense.
Exactly. And Sam seems to approach the game in such a surgical fashion that, he just has an innate sense about the court and where that ball is going to be at and how to react to it.
It's a good serve by Jake. That Z that came barely off the back wall. Great pass.
Textbook crash court.
It's a good anticipation right there. It looked like Jake read that Sam shot like a book.
Again, it's a lot, I think, to do with the fact that they've played each other so often that They just know their game so well. Pretty hard to beat that.
Your anticipation, like, Eduardo Portillo said in the interview, anticipation is becoming more of an important part of the game now that he's at this level. That's going to play a key factor here as well. Side out again. Wow, Sam, great anticipation right there.
You know, if anybody that's watching is new to the game, it's interesting when you talk about the anticipation. And when you watch these players, when Sam serves, like in this case, Jake has to be thinking about what's that serve going to be, what am I going to do with it, and then when I do what I do with it, what's Sam going to do with my shot? And then, of course, it just builds on itself. But that's one of the difficult parts about the game, at least for me as an amateur player, is the anticipation and trying to figure out what's my next move going to be.
Great wraparound. It's a good down the line shot. But Lauren, but what you mentioned, we say in the broadcast sometimes, oh, this is going to be a chess match, because sometimes it is. Like you said, you have to make your move, anticipate the response, and if he answers to that response, what are you going to react to that? So you got to be, 2-3 steps ahead. Great defense again by Sam. That's a good reset. That ball hit that front camera. That's a replay call. And yes, we're going to have a lot of those.
Yes, we are.
So one thing I want to mention for you, our title sponsor is Papa Nicholas Coffee. And also want to mention that take advantage of this 50% off during this weekend. Racquetball 5-0. Go to papanicholas.com and have your coffee shipped at home. Coffee is roasted at their plant in Batavia, Illinois, and is guaranteed to be the freshest available. Wow, what a choice of attack right there,
Again,
Lauren.
38 feet, you pinch it in the right-hand side. That's just an amazing shot. And again, if you're just maybe joining this sport for the first time or haven't watched a lot of racquetball, and you see a shot like that and you think, holy buckets, that's pretty amazing. It is. It's even more amazing when you watch it in person.
One of the ball control and the calculation that you have to execute a shot like that is very difficult at that level. That's a great response there by Murray. 0-3. Bit of a reset right there. That's good execution by Sam Murray. Talk about anticipation right there between the legs. Wow. Oh, Sam, after all that effort, let's take a replay right there, Lauren. Take a look at this one. I got to commend Sam for doing that.
Absolutely. And that is, again, anticipation. But then to have Jake followed up with that between the legs shot.
Wow, that was dangerously close. I thought, with that swing right there, that Jake might have clipped Sam, and it was just amazing. Look at this. Let's take a look again. God, that we always talk about how Sam is so good in defense. And look at what he did.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
I mean, can he be like an NFL linebacker, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
He can definitely be, and he just ran with so much acceleration right there, and he got it. Right now, Jake is in control. 3-0. Down the line winner. Great return of serve.
These guys work so hard when they're not playing, obviously practicing and getting ready for their next match. But I just don't know how you can possibly practice diving and jumping up so quickly without hurting yourself.
A lot of burpees, a lot of squats, a lot of push-ups. Call was good. Double bounce is argued by Sam Murray, so there's an appeal. First appeal used. One up, one down. I don't see Sam Murray appealing that much, really, in most of his games. But right now, I don't blame him for trying.
I think he has to be fairly confident that he thought it was going to be a good shot before he makes that appeal.
Listen, that was a side out, and I got to tell you, Lauren, the ball doesn't lie.
No. You know, as just as a point of reference, can you talk a little bit, Fabio, about how the appeal process works? What the line judges are responsible for doing?
Yeah, of course. So based on the call, the referee, if the player disagrees with the call the head referee made, he signals for an appeal process. And when he does, he has 2 appeals per game. And he can appeal also on game or match point. So when he appeals, the referee has to say verbally to the sideline judges what his call was and that the player is in disagreement. And the sideline judges have to agree or disagree with the referee. If both judges disagree, they overrule the head referee. If at least one of them agrees, then the call stands. So a player can appeal as many times as he wants as long as he doesn't lose his 2 appeals.
Right. That's the key, too. It keeps going.
And it's called game management. That's what some players are not taught in racquetball nowadays, is that you have to manage all the resources that you have to win a match. Not only your appeals, but also your timeouts.
Exactly. And that leads to your comment about Sam maybe not taking many appeals. And he has to be careful when he makes that decision because it will impact what happens down the road.
Well, it's not only just about Sam. It's about emotions. Some players appeal out of emotion because they get frustrated for a call that they might not have made themselves properly. You know, it's like when you go to the market to buy groceries and you're hungry. You end up buying a lot of stuff you really don't need. But if you go to the market after you've eaten, you're more conscious about your decisions of what to buy. Same thing.
Good reset by Jake.
Oh, that ball just shot off that back wall in a bounce that didn't favor Sam Murray, unfortunately. But there are no court hinders in the IRT.
No, there is not. You cannot get a membership bounce here. Again, I am so amazed. I hate to keep it sounding like a broken record, but he is just one of the better players from the backcourt.
And not just that, but Jake has just really gotten better over time. You see him improve. And I've said it before in the broadcast, over the past 2 years, I'm seeing a very different Jake Bredenbeck.
Yeah. His performance at the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago was really amazing to watch, too. It was almost a clinic in what you should do as far as cross-court and down the line. Good get by Jake.
That ball nearly made the front wall. That's good reaction right there by Jake Bredenbeck. So we're going to have a bit of a safety timeout. So let's talk about Papa Nicholas Coffee, our title sponsor. Now, for those of you who haven't tried one, there's more than 50 different blends of Papa Nicholas Coffee. We encourage you to do so. Our competitors are enjoying Papa Nicholas Coffee all weekend as a coffee bar in the Glass Court Lounge, fully stocked from early in the morning until late night. Jim and Papa Nicholas want everyone to ask for Papa Nicholas Coffee at their local grocers like Jewel or Roscoe, or go online to order today directly at papanicholas.com. Have it shipped directly to your home. And use code Racquetball50 during this weekend. All Papa's Nicholas Coffee is roasted at their plant in Batavia, Illinois, and is guaranteed to be the freshest available. Back to the action. Screen serve called.
You know, Jake kind of had Sam running on that rally.
He did. But you know what? I like Sam how he held, but it looked like he was waiting rather for Jake to make a mistake. I just didn't see him go full offense there. It's a good pass.
Just showing once again that you don't always have to hit a power shot. I mean, sometimes that little pace you take off of it is just what you need to get that ball back where the other, your opponent can't even get to it.
It's another great C serve. Weak return. It's a good side out by Sam Murray. And I also want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Draeger Law. Relying on his strong commercial background, Mr. Draeger focuses his practice primarily in the areas of transactional and construction law and dispute resolution. His clients range from professional service, corporations to closely held businesses in a wide variety of industries. Draeger Law. Screen serve. You know, I like the patience that Jake had to go offensive on that shot.
Yes, very much so. And that's difficult to do, first of all.
So a skip is called, and there's an appeal used, and no, there isn't a disagreement there in the referees, but the call stands a 1 up, 1 down. So even though I thought there was a good shot.
Right. But, it's hard to see, as it is on, if you're watching on streaming, it's difficult sometimes to track the ball. And even when you're watching it live, it's hard to see. It's just moving so fast.
That's a skip shot right there. We're seeing a lot of side outs here, Lauren. The last game was fast-paced and really quick. But this one, as you mentioned, they know their game so well.
Yeah, I think it's just indicative of the fact that they just know each other so well and their games so well that they're each trying to figure out what's the next chess piece I can pull up that's going to give me the advantage.
What a great rally!
I mean,
right
it's
there.
just like Sam is reading the book that Jake is reading out of the. He's right there. It almost looked to me like on that one of the rallies at the front part of the court, he was going to go to maybe to his backhand or to the right or the left, and he made a decision halfway through the swing and pulled it off, and it worked for him.
Short serve.
Nice cutoff by Jake.
Those cutoff shots I like because, you have to be aggressive, but you have to be precise. Because if you cut it off at the wrong moment, everything can go wrong. Right down the line again. I want to thank everybody again for watching. Like our post, share our feed, and keep following us on social media. And remember, in a month's time, we will be in Los Angeles, the SoCal Open Racquetball Championships. That's going to be a good one, Lauren. We haven't been to the West Coast in about a year, so that's going to be really fun.
That is one tournament that I'd like to go have a chance and an opportunity to go see, only because I've never been to California. That would be one of the big reasons.
Down the line again, a winner. Well, that's it. Well, I have to correct myself. We went to the West Coast back in December, Portland, Oregon.
Well, yes.
That is the West Coast.
It is definitely the West
So
Coast.
I have to correct myself.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fantastic shot. I like the focus and the concentration of Jake Bredenbeck. You know, those balls that seem that are unreachable or just there's nothing to do, and you keep track of that ball. That just shows you the focus and commitment that you have.
And it helps that he's got extremely long legs and arms to make that reach, too.
Again.
Nice pass.
10, serving 3.
That'd be a good time for maybe Sam to be thinking about a
3, serving 10.
timeout here. See what happens once he gets back in the box this time. And
yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. A timeout at this point, probably freeze, you know, kind of ice the kicker.
Yep.
10, serving 3.
A great pass again.
Tell you what, that pass shot is really working for Jake tonight.
So as you mentioned right there, you call it, Lauren. Timeout by Sam Murray. He takes a 1-minute break, and we will too. We'll be back on IRT Live. Back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you just joining us, timeout taken by Sam Murray. And you know what? I think you made the right call there, Lauren. And this is, I think, a very wise timeout.
Well, like you said, it'll give him an opportunity to maybe slow the game down just a little bit. You know, if Jake has any kind of a rhythm going, or at least he thinks he has a rhythm going, it could disrupt that, and that might be the advantage that Sam needs right now to be able to get himself back in the game.
No point. That didn't have the effect that Sam wanted.
12, serving 3.
That's another point. And you know what I like about Jake? He just kind of shifted into fifth gear right now.
Right.
And I like how, you know, he's focusing that energy.
His game plan is working really well for him.
What about Sam's anticipation right there?
Right.
Right. I mean, you'd figure that Jake would just go down the line right there on the left side, but he didn't, and Sam read it. Like, look at Jake. He waved with his hand to go down the line.
Yep, he knew it.
It's an interesting serve. That's a skip shot.
Side out.
Yeah, I don't recall Sam doing the backhand lob real often.
No. But he's trying something different.
Well, sure. Makes sense.
Wow, what a great point right there by Jake.
14, serving 3.
So game point number 1 for Jake Bredenbeck. 14 serving 3. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Jake read that one like he thought he did. That was a great pass by Sam.
3, serving 14.
And, you know, this is so different than how the match started, because it's starting to be a chess match, you know, one jab here, one jab there. But right now, this is just a commanding lead by Jake Bredenbeck. It's just a matter of him of siding out. That serve you're talking about, he just did it again. Let's see if this creates what he's expecting. Not like that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the theory in my head is that
14 serving 3.
Jake has worked really hard for these last 14 points, but sometimes you have to work extra hard for the final one to actually close the deal.
Oh, that made
no.
the front. Wow, wow. That was amazing right there.
Okay, I'm going to give Sam a membership bounce pass on that one.
Let's take a look at this one. I don't think anybody expected that ball to reach the front wall.
Well, Jake certainly had no idea.
Had no idea.
And, of course, by the time he realized it, it's already on the floor.
It's too late.
I shouldn't laugh because I've had that happen to me many times in games. Never give up.
Never give up.
And that's the game.
Game number one, Jake Bredenbeck takes it 15-3 in compelling fashion. Players will take a 2-minute break, and we will too, and we'll be back shortly on IRT Live.
John Story joined the U.S. military, was killed in an inside attack on the 12th of February 2014. The biggest thing we want to do to help our local Gold Star families and our veterans, that we bring awareness to their opportunities to be served, to be taken care of, to bring to light ever-increasing need for our veterans specifically to have housing, to have good benefits, to be taken care of. Go to livelikejohn.us. Go to the Donate Now button and help us fulfill our mission.
I played a lot of matches when I was playing the WRT with the gearbox ball. It's a different ball than the other ones. I think it's better for the game. It's durable. I think for fans it's going to be more enjoyable. The rallies are going to be a little longer, so it's going to be fun.
Welcome back to IRT Live. I'm Lauren McManus along with Fabio Soto, and we are at the 38th annual Papa Nicholas Coffee Shamrock Shootout. Beautiful Lombard, Illinois at the Glass Court. And we were about to start game two between Jake Bredenbeck and Sam Murray.
So Lauren McManus, the Michael Buffer of racquetball. I got to ask you, what do you think that Sam needs to change to take this one to a third game?
I don't know that I have a great answer for that. I think maybe just to be a little bit more offensive. It felt to me like he was just on the defense for most of that last game.
I agree. And you know what? Definitely experiment a little more. He practices with Jake every now and then. And those shots just coming out of left field, if you will, or sometimes it's going to make you pop.
Right.
But yeah, build on momentum, be a little bit more offensive, a little bit more aggressive. But in the end, it's not that Sam is doing something wrong. It's just that Jake is doing everything right.
Exactly. Oh, he almost got that second diving shot. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it would be difficult, though, to walk that balance between wanting to stay competitive on top of. Oh,
there you go. Stick to that replay right there.
Oh, yeah. And now the second effort.
want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in. Remember, this is the IRT, and we have a lot for you right now. Quarterfinal action right now. This is our second match of the evening here. But I got to tell you, Lauren, we had more action-packed, especially in the quarterfinals, because right now, after this match, our next one is going to be Conrado Moscoso versus Andres Acuña. And then after that, Rodrigo Montoya versus Andre Parrilla. So this is going to be pretty exciting right now. As people start coming in to the glass court.
Yeah, 2 high-test matches coming up. It's going to be a great night of racquetball.
Look at that transition between offense and defense from Jake. It was just shooting and shooting and shooting. Then Sam Murray got a good opportunity to go on offense, but, you know, he missed that one.
Right.
But I like the transition. I like how easily these two athletes change from defense to offense to defense back again.
You almost couldn't tell that it happened. I mean, it was, you know, Sam was doing the ceiling shots, and all of a sudden Jake was doing them.
Serving 2.
What I also appreciate about these two is the fact that they have that good, solid friendship. But when they're on the court, it's no holds barred. It's, you know, I'll take you down if I need to.
It's a street fight.
It sure is.
That's a skip right there, Jake.
Point. 1 serving 2.
So it's a slow start, just like game number 1, 1 serving 2. You know, I like that wraparound that Jake does every time he spins. And when he does that, it's mostly to go on his forehand, not on his backhand. He'd just rather spin and take that control. Even though you lose fractions of a second sometimes, that can be critical. Oh, that's a replay. That ball hit the front camera.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That's a missed opportunity right there. And a lucky break for Sam.
Yes. You know, and a spin around shot like that Jake does when he's going for that forehand, I mean, there's, you know, a certain amount of control that has to be managed there too, because you're probably picking up speed as you're rotating, and to be able to manage that when you connect with the ball is pretty impressive.
Sam a little frustrated with that call. You rarely see him show a lot of emotion, really.
Yeah, he is somebody that is just Mr. Consistent when it comes to watching him on the game. Really very little emotion gets shown. He might have some of the best mental discipline on the tour, Fabio. Just the way he conducts himself on the court and how he handles, you know, maybe calls that don't go his way.
Wow, great pickup there by Murray. You see how defense pays off right there, and patience as well. Not to mention shot selection, but Murray just showed us how patience pays off, Lauren.
Absolutely. Take your time, wait for the ball.
See it. Sam not happy with the decision he made to make that shot.
Yeah. Again, not vocal like that real often.
No. I got to tell you, Lauren, if I ever played poker against Sam, I wouldn't know what to do.
Exactly.
One serving 4.
1 serving 4.
I wonder if maybe he's a little bit fatigued or maybe just not quite feeling, as good as he wants to.
Second serve.
Wow. And I love how they didn't stop that play or held up or just wanted an avoidable from the referee. They know they're not going to get a free call.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, Sam on the run.
It's just interesting, Fabio. What are we, less than maybe 10 minutes into this game? And it just feels like Sam has really been on the defense the entire time.
It does feel that way. And I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised how I'm seeing a lot of emotion from Sam right now. He doesn't show it, not on a regular basis at least, but he knows that he needs to make some changes to keep going right now. Because right now it's been all Jake Bredenbeck so far.
Absolutely, yeah. This is probably the most, I don't want to say defeated that he's looked, but you can tell he's struggling. Like everything he tries, it's just not working for him.
Wow, just like that.
1 serving 5.
That just leads you to believe that what's going through his mind right now, because he has to reset and refocus. I mean, 1 serving 5, and it's been a while here in game number 2.
Exactly.
Short serve, second opportunity.
Second serve.
Wow, nice off-speed serve. Dumped it right in the corner. Jake didn't have a shot at it.
Not the changeup that Jake Bredenbeck was expecting.
Absolutely
Good
not.
ace serve.
That's a good surprise that came out of Sam. Maybe he's going to start, like you said, thinking about some out-of-the-box shots that he hasn't maybe used for a while.
1 short serve. Second serve.
Good Z-serve.
Wow, compelling play. And that's what I like about Sam, not showing any hesitation at all with those shots.
No. Showing good patience, obviously, and waiting for the ball and all the mechanical things you have to do, but not afraid to take it, obviously.
You know, an effective shot, I thought down the line would have been more, just as effective, but an easier execution.
Right.
And again, that corner right there is just, Sam is just laser focused on it.
He is just working that like it's his home plate.
3 serving 5. Second serve.
Just a quick punch right down the line, and Sam was not able to get to it.
Serving 3.
That's a beautiful shot from Sam, that beautiful right-hand side corner pinch.
3 serving 5.
I love the courtesy between the sportsmanship. He asked him, like, what was that? And he answers, all right.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
He took it and he went back.
Yeah. Was it good? Yeah, okay, all right, fine. That might have been a question about the serve, Fabio. It was close, but
3 serving 5.
well, we've been at 3-5, 5-3, 3-5, 5-3 for a bit, so at least Sam is keeping himself alive. Oh, he got that.
He did.
He did get that.
Wow.
Diving for the down the line that just caught a front part of the racket that got to the wall.
So we're reminded of our title sponsors, Papa Nicholas Coffee. You got to remember, you know, they have more than 50 brands of Papa Nicholas Coffee, and we encourage you to do so. Try them out. Our competitors are enjoying Papa Nicholas Coffee all weekend at the coffee bar in the Glass Court Lounge. Is fully stocked from early in the morning until late at night. I'm sure you had a few of those, Lauren.
Well, I certainly have had my share of Papa Nicholas coffee. That Kona brew is really one of my favorites.
And you know what? They want everybody to ask for Papa Nicholas Coffee at their local grocers like Jewel or Osco, or go online to order directly at papanicholas.com to have them shipped directly to your home. You know, all Papa Nicholas Coffee is roasted at their plant in Batavia, Illinois, and is guaranteed to be the freshest available. So take advantage during this weekend of professional racquetball. Try your code racquetball50 to order and get 50% off, Lauren, on Papa Nicholas Coffee. I'm sure a lot of coffee lovers here are enjoying that, and they should, because they have such different blends. And you want to thank our host of Glass Court Swim and Fitness, because this club with 8 courts, including the internationally known glass courts in the stadium and the Jeff Peters Memorial Glass Court, has hosted professional events over 35 years. So thank you to the Glass Court Swim and Fitness. Back to the action as Jake Bredenbeck goes to the serve. Just want to mention as well that the referee gave indications to Sam Reed to change his shirt, so now he's in the black. Set up for Bury. Side out.
I can't imagine how much money we would make if we owned the store that supplied shirts to Sam.
No,
But that is and can be a huge safety issue, obviously, once they start
diving a lot, yeah.
Right, exactly. Just a beautiful wide-angle pass right down the line.
Remember, kids, when you're at home, kill for show, pass for dough.
That's right.
Wow, just Jake is just really not taking any prisoners right there.
He is not. He's very dialed in. It's almost reminiscent of what we saw at the Hall of Fame. He
True.
just really had a good weekend's worth of games that particular tournament.
Oh, that was huge for Jake right there after all that effort.
Yeah, all that work to get back to that ball and get it returned.
3 serving 6. Sam clearly frustrated right there.
He is, but it's interesting that the pace of this game is certainly different than the first game.
It is.
So whatever he's trying is, again, at least keeping him in the game. And now Jake is having, some issues.
3 serving 6.
Now a backhanded high lob Z. Great down the line pass.
It's almost like Sam is realizing that, you know, I'd like to hit it over here because that's not where Jake is, but he's not able to execute for whatever reason.
That's the problem. We're trying to hit a down the line shot and it clips the sidewall. You know that what you have to do, and you execute to what you think you have to do. However, the result is not what you expect. And I understand what Sam's trying to focus on.
Yeah. That was a great shot.
That right corner has just been all, you know, all Sam. But he has to find that opportunity to keep moving forward.
Who's it going to be? Oh,
Wow.
Unfortunately, it was Sam.
But you know what? I like the fact that he took a chance on that. So remember, everybody, after this match, our next quarterfinal between Conrado Moscoso and Andres Acuña is coming up here in the glass court. The Jeff Peters Memorial Court. And after that, our final match of the evening will be Rodrigo Montoya versus André Parrilla. So Eduardo Portillo advanced to the semifinals, and he will wait for the winner of this match.
Right.
Four serving 6.
You know, Sam is starting to make a little bit of a comeback here, but I still think he looks tired. He's moving kind of slow, just in general.
Well, this is his third match of the day.
Right.
Granted, one of them was a doubles, but still. Oh, very fancy shot right there. A point for
Between
Sam.
the legs from Jake and a little bit of a dump shot from Sam, and it was all over.
I want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in. Remember, this is the IRT. We're here in Chicago, and like our posts, share our feed, keep following us on social media. This is Fantastic Friday. Only 2 matches left after this one.
Good get by Sam. Just couldn't quite deliver on that. It was an interesting serve that started that rally out. A forehand drive, or I should say a drive to Jake's forehand.
That's true. Well, we'll see right now the sort of attack that comes up with Sam. But got to tell everybody, you know, one of our sponsors here at this event is Tony Cosmano and his son Anthony Cosmano have been competing in Illinois events for many years, with Tony having passed on his love of the sport to his namesake. He runs Anthony's Pizza and has been a sponsor for many Illinois racquetball events at the glass court for over the past 20 years. And we're going to have pizza tomorrow from Anthony's Pizza, Lauren. I got to tell you, I'm really happy for that one because, you know me, I love my pizza. And Anthony's Pizza is probably some of the best that I've had in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That is one of the nice things about this tournament is Papa Nicholas Coffee, and they do a really nice job of having the sponsors that bring that great food in for the players and for the attendees and on occasion as well.
Wow, what a great side out there by
That
Murray.
was not a bad serve either on Jake's part.
Not-
5 serving 6.
I've mentioned this before, Fabio. Obviously, the pros in any sport make that particular sport look a lot easier than it really is.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the shots that these pros are able to pull off, it's really pretty amazing.
So also want to thank some of our silver sponsors, Cheryl Kirk and Kid Lawson, Country Financial, Bruce Nelson, John O'Donnell Jr., Skin Deep Day Spa, and that's Linda and George Pappas. Want to thank them as well for their support.
Sam back in the service box, and all of a sudden we are tied up at 6 apiece.
That's a skip by Sam. I think he was more surprised than anybody that he skipped such an easy shot. 6 serving 6.
That was a close serve.
Double bounce called. Also want to thank our Racquetball sponsors, and thank you to all the Racquetball companies supporting the silent auction in the Junior Clinic. That's Headpen Racket Sports, Gearbox, and Prokenix. Also want to thank our bronze sponsors.
Absolutely. Response Graphics and Embroidery, Lynn and Kevin Easel. Fellows Roofing, Willie Fellows is part of that. Taco Burrito King, Danny Ortega. Janet and Joe Eminger for Little Debbie. You've got Mike Kinkin from Dovetail by Design. Alak Maheta, John Thorson, Davern's Tavern and Lounge, Mike Davern, part of that. Ray Meisner, Mike Zupke, Joel Ortega, Liz Molitor. All these individuals are bronze sponsors for the tournament. Oh, yes, and DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau, too.
I want to thank all of them for their support of this event. Without them, this wouldn't be possible.
7 serving 6.
Back to the action, 7 serving 6. As Jake Bredenbeck still in control.
Nice pass by Sam.
Wide angle.
6 serving 7.
There's only a 1-point deficit right now for Sam.
That is a beautiful, if you're just, again, new to the sport, that's called a splat shot, where the ball actually hits the sidewall before it hits the front wall. Makes it
That's a skip shot right there. No doubt on the referee, but Jake admitted to that being a skip.
Again, that just goes to show the sportsmanship / friendship that these two have. They can play the game and do the right thing while they're doing it.
And I like when, sometimes the players like Jake right now, he's talking to himself, but, he's talking in a loud voice, telling himself what to do and what to expect.
Trying to get himself pumped up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Wow, what a great way to finish that one. We're talking about that wraparound shot.
Yeah, Sam was just really anticipating a lot of the shots in that rally, but that pinch in the right corner caught him off guard.
I want to remind everybody that the IRT will be in Los Angeles, the SoCal Open Racquetball Championships. That's coming up next month. So we're going to take a 4-week break in the IRT and come back at the West Coast. So right after this match, just to remind everybody, Conrado Moscoso will take on Andres Acuña here at the Jeff Peters Memorial Court. And after that one, our final match would be Rodrigo Montoya versus Andre Parrilla. That's the last match of the evening, number 4 versus number 5. How cool is that, Lauren?
That's going to be a great night of racquetball, and it's going to set us up for an incredible weekend of racquetball. Again, the pace of this game is way different than what the first game was. And Sam apparently has gotten himself in a figured out to the point that, again, he's staying right with Jake. Haven't seen any big runs yet from anybody, so.
7-7.
You know, you wouldn't realize the score of the match if you've been watching it. It's 7-7, but if you didn't hear the score, you'd watch it, you wouldn't guess that that would be the actual score. And Jake knows that he hasn't made the best shot selection in his repertoire.
Starting to sound like me on the court, just maybe not as many swear words.
That's a skip by Murray.
7-7.
I got to tell you, Fabio, this second game is a little more of what I kind of had in my head before the match started. I mean, I think you're seeing each of them playing to their strength of knowing the other's game, if that makes sense. And the anticipation is really incredible. Sam especially. It's like he knows exactly where Jake's going to put that ball.
But you know what I don't like right now is both of their front court action right now, because as soon as they're in front and their opponent is in the back, they just tap the ball. They don't blast it, they don't kill it, they just see what happens.
Right.
And, you know, there's a certain, you know, measure of aggression that's missing from that. Like that, for example.
Right. It's almost like he's playing doubles. Good reset. Ooh.
Timeout taken by Sam Murray. As he takes a timeout, we'll take a minute break, and we'll be back on IRT Live.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Timeout was taken by Sam Murray, who right now at the moment is trailing 7-9. Jake Bredenbeck is at the serve. So, Lauren, what do you think about this timeout?
I think the timing's good. I mean, they've been going back and forth and really haven't had a run, either of them, in the last probably 10, 15 minutes. So I think it's just a good reset for Sam to be able to maybe think about what he could try differently to get the edge on Jake.
Wow, what great use of three walls right there, Lauren.
Absolutely, and shots like that, you just have to stand back and applaud your opponent, because there's not a lot you can do with it otherwise.
No, not really. Not really. It's the same as having a rollout. There's nothing you can do
Right.
about that one.
Yep. Hard to be on the receiving end, but boy, they're fun to watch. Again, another good example of just taking a little bit of pace off the ball and allowing that pass to get obviously past Jake, but then just dropping off, and there's no way he could have gotten to it.
Wow, what a great shot there by Jake.
Yep, absolutely. I was just thinking, you know, we talked a lot this game about Sam and what he's trying to do to manage Jake's game, but we can't forget that Jake is also having to have some management thoughts about his own, because Sam has been able to get to a lot of the stuff he's put at him.
But not only that, like, Jake doesn't take that much time to serve.
Right.
He doesn't take his full 10 seconds. What a great diving get there by Sam. Overhead shot. Wow. Another point by Jake. But, you know, I've been noticing that as of today, this is the second match I've seen Jake play. He doesn't wait, you know, to serve that much. He just focuses and goes, You know how sometimes players take their 10 seconds, they wait around, they look around, they bounce the ball. Jake just goes back to the box, serves, doesn't let his opponent take any opportunity to breathe, to take a little time out and mentally refocus.
Exactly, you know, and obviously Jake has confidence in what he's going to do with that serve, and, you know, I'm sure that's part of his game plan, is he's been thinking about all this stuff and making sure that he has those tools in his bag to be able to pull out when he needs it.
You know, and that's the thing. That's part of the key. And you know, if you're come out with a game plan at the pro level, you have to have a game plan. You know, give a quote from one of my favorite coaches in racquetball, Fran Davis. You know, she says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Right.
So that's the thing. You have to have a plan for an execution. And not only that, you know, you got to plan to have good coffee at home. So if you want to have great coffee, go to Papa Nicholas throughout this weekend in racquetball. Use code racquetball50 to get 50% off all coffee in Papa Nicholas. And I got to tell you, Lauren, I've seen you have your share of cup of coffee today.
Well, absolutely, because I'm not going to pass it up. You know what? And if you're somebody who's watching right now that maybe has never had an opportunity to see a game, you know, like these live, if you're in the Lombard area, stop by the club. Take a look at what's going on as far as all the racquetball, and you'll get a free cup of coffee from Papa Nicholas, because there's a bunch of it out in front.
And you know what? You haven't tried. They have more than 50 blends of Papa Nicholas coffee, and we encourage you to do so. If you're in the Chicago area, come on over. Have a cup of coffee, watching professional racquetball. Back to the action. 12 serving 7 now. Jake Bredenbeck 3 points away from taking this one. So we see Conrado Moscoso and Andres Acuña warming up. They're up next in this Jeff Peters Memorial Court. Jake Bredenbeck 2 points away from victory.
Yep. Again, the down-the-line shot.
Best shot in racquetball.
Yes, so effective.
It
when
is.
executed the way it should be.
Want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in. Please like our post, share our feed, keep following us on social media. Remember, the IRT will be back in the West Coast, IRT in Los Angeles, the SoCal Open Racquetball Championships, Lauren. That's coming up in a month's time. You know, that will be in Canoga Park. I love that venue. I've been there venue since I was an amateur player myself, and you know what? It's a great place for racquetball, one of the most emblematic clubs in California. They had International Racquetball Federation events in that venue. A long time it's been, and a long time coming. Let's see if we can get everybody in SoCal to go, watch some professional racquetball, and participate in the amateur divisions.
Is that a pretty good-sized facility?
Yes,
those
it
of us
is.
From the Midwest?
The Athletic Society is a great club. And it's located in a great area right off the 101, and it's just a lot, you know, to take in for racquetball in California.
Excellent.
14 serving 7, match point for Jake Bredenbeck. Short serve, second opportunity.
Was close. I thought it was good, but I don't have the best angle either.
That's the match right there. Jake Bredenbeck takes this and capitalizes on Sam Murray's mistake. 15-3, 15-7. Lauren, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that Sam came out in that second game. Whatever his plan was, he had some pretty good execution to begin with, because it took him a while to get off that back and forth. And then toward the end now, of course, Sam had a, I don't know, it just seemed like he, again, just appears to be a little bit more tired, and Jake took advantage of it, had the run, and got the win.
Well, congratulations to Jake Bredenbeck. And we'll be back shortly after a few moments with the winner, Jake Bredenbeck, here on IRT Live.
Feel it now every time I leave. It hits me hard and it cuts me deep. I'm 1,000 miles from happiness, 1,000 miles from you. Every mile on my map leads to you. It leads to you. Every mile on my path leads to you. It leads to you.
I'm here with the winner, Jake Bredenbeck. First off, Jake, congratulations on this amazing win. How do you feel?
Feel good. It's nice to get a win against Sam. He's a tough player. I know he won't use it as an excuse. I know he's got battling some injuries, but he still goes out there and gives it his all. So just happy to get a win and get into another semi.
And you know what? Not easy to play against someone who's your partner in the doubles at this event. I mean, Kadim Carrasco battled Conrado Moscoso earlier today. Now you battled Sam, and you still got to see him and meet tomorrow because you made the doubles semis, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just how it goes. You know, we've both been on the losing side when we have to do that, and you just got to move on and get ready for the doubles.
So even though you guys play against each other, you know, and you know each other's, you know, strengths and weaknesses, you know, you go in there, you know what's going to happen. There's some advantage to anticipation, but what goes through your mind when you're playing someone that you know very well, like if you would play your brother Sam?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to execute your game plan. Maybe throw a few things in there to try and keep them off balance, obviously. But for the most part, it's just, you know, doing what you know to do and playing your game instead of playing to their game. And you still got to execute and make your shots.
Well, Jake, once again, it's always a treat watching you play. You definitely, we mentioned the broadcast, you're a very different player than you were 2 years ago. You've improved very, very much in you going up and stepping up to your game. Congratulations again. Anybody you want to thank back?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. I got to thank my parents, my brother, you know, Murray for playing with me, and when we're not battling on the court, we're always in each other's corner. Cliff, Joe and Sam Kelly, Keith Miner here, good friend and supporter. Thank you guys for, you know, putting the tour on. Thanks to the sponsors here, Gearbox. Check out Odyssey Apparel. We got a new shirt out, and Forza. Got a lot of people. Like, it takes a lot of people to get me to this point. So got to try to thank all of them, and rest up and get ready for tomorrow.
All right, Jake, congratulations. Jake Bredenbeck advances to semifinals tomorrow. You're both in singles and in doubles. So congratulations for that. So everybody, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Conrado Moscoso's taking on Andres Acuna here on IRT Live.